in the next case, for this SM, which class should we use over here? This is the leading tight class, and it has a line height property of 1.25. So in this particular case, we are about to make usage of this class of leading tight. There it goes. The expected line height property is 1.25. So press Ctrl S and get back to our project and reload. This is the thing that will be used right over here. And another thing, we have defined nothing for the respective breakpoints over here. So this will be the class which will be carried forward to the next breakpoints which haven't been defined right over here. If we get back to our project and press F12 and have a close look over here, the property of this particular paragraph, we can see that the same exact leading tight class along with its property of line height of 1.25 is being used right over here. So there's absolutely no problem to understand that at any breakpoint, whatever is the definition of that particular breakpoint where we had defined some particular classes with some definite properties, it will be continued for the next breakpoints which haven't been defined yet. This is the exact demonstration of what we are about to see in our future tutorials, in our future project on Tailwind CSS. While we haven't defined any breakpoint, it will be using the default class and it will be continued all along this particular breakpoints right over here. Now we are about to define some classes for different breakpoints. So that is why we are getting back to our project, and here for this MD we will be using some separate class here like this leading snug or leading normal of 1.5. So if we make use of this leading normal, then if for LG we are making usage of another class for say leading relaxed, it will be having a line height of 1.625, and for Excel it will be having a class, line height class of leading loose, which has a line height of 2. Have a closer look right over here. So we are making usage of this particular class of leading loose, which has a line height property of 2 at the larger desktop preview, and at the then for this large device preview it will be using a leading relaxed class. Then at MD breakpoint it will be making usage of a leading normal class. For SM it will be using a leading tight class, and the default value is set to leading none. Let's have a look at the properties those been defined right over here. For this leading none, it will be having a line height of 1. For this leading tight, it will be having a line height of 1.25. For leading relaxed, it will be having a line height of 1.625. Leading loose will be providing a line height of 2. So all those things been defined right over here. Now if we get back to our project and have a look at this particular paragraph, this is the third paragraph where we had practically made all those changes. Before going through this particular project, first of all, let's get back to our text editor, and here we can see that we haven't saved the changes yet. So let's press here Ctrl S, and getting back to our project, reloading, we can see that under this larger desktop preview, we can see that the line height is now a little bit of enhanced here. If we press F12, selecting this particular text element here, and we can see that we have used this leading loose class which has a line height property of 2, and this is what is been exactly described right over here. Now press Ctrl Shift M to switch back to the lower desktop preview. So we are checking the line height under this particular 320 pix preview, and we can see that under this particular mobile preview this is the line height property which is been executed right over here, and select this particular paragraph. Have a look here. We can see that leading none is been observed, which is set as the default for the third paragraph that we have set right over here. This is the leading none class which is set as default. For the lower breakpoint of 640 pixels, we can see that this will be the result. Have a check on it. This is the leading tight. Line height is 1.25. Then it comes about this 768 pixels. Have a check on it. You can see that the leading normal class is being used, which has a line height of 1.5. Let's have a check with our project in the text editor. We can see that for this MD, it is using a leading normal. There it goes. So we are at MD right now, and we can see that it is using a class of leading normal, which has a line height of 1.5. For larger preview, 1024 pixels, select it. So we can see that the leading relax class is being used right over here, which has a property of line height 1.625. And we have already observed the change in the line height attribute in case of our desktop preview. So these are the things so far that we may discuss into this project. In the next one, we are still lacking of this particular elements like this list style type or list style position, placeholder color. All those things we are about to discuss. For the time being, let it be up to this far. Thank you.